10 Magic cards rated day 100, everybody. We're doing it live. We're doing it live in a special event. We got like half the people that even watch the video here in chat live on Twitch. Good to have you all. And if you didn't make the stream, that's fine. I'm just glad to have you here. I should be wearing a party hat and going with one of those noisemaker things, popping champagne and stuff, because we made it. No one thought we could do it. They all doubted us. We made our haters our motivators. This is day number 100 of a series that I have come to love very, very much. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I'd like to talk about that for about 60 solid seconds, hopefully less if you don't mind, before we really get into it here on the 100th day of looking at 10 cards a day. The number one question I get about this, and to be honest, I've only gotten this question like 4 times in 100 videos, right? So it's not like that much, but I have seen multiple people say like, you know, this is pointless. More like, what's the point of this series? And I actually take massive umbrage with that. I think there's a lot of points of this series on a personal level for me, but also for you guys, you know. And a lot of the reasons it's important to me are reasons I hope that it translates to being at least fun, entertaining series to watch for you guys, because that's really what we're all here for, right? This is an entertainment avenue, youtube.com. So that's, I hope at least it's entertaining. So at the very, again, you know, if you're looking for an actual purpose to the series, that's number one, entertainment. I hope that I'm the kind of host that is, you know, both laid back and occasionally clever enough to take you through this journey once a day, and actually have a little bit of fun with, right? But hopefully it's evident that I'm having a lot of fun doing it. This is in a way like therapeutic to me at this point, getting to do this 7 times a week, sitting down, pressing random, and either discovering brand new cards that I haven't seen because they're in a Commander product, or, you know, they came out in a set while I was on a break. You know, it's in some ways a journey of personal discovery and filling holes in Magic knowledge that I didn't even know that I had, which is practical for me. Again, if you're looking for a point to the series, which is sort of my dissertation and my thesis statement, right? But yeah, it's practical knowledge for me, and I imagine there's a lot of people who watch the series that have never seen this or that card either. So again, a learning experience, if nothing else. But apart from that, a lot of cards that we see, you know, have some sort of personal story, or if they're not a personal story for me, then it's some sort of history in, you know, Magic. In the long and storied story of Magic, they have some small or even large sometimes place in that history, and I'm pretty good on my magic knowledge for the most part, so I can tell those stories and sort of pass on that knowledge through this series. And that's always something I like doing too, is kind of being a historian and telling people things that they may or may not know about cards. Even if they do know it, maybe, you know, saying things about it they may have never heard before, right? So just like exploring the history, the vast history of Magic the Gathering is another reason why I really enjoy doing this series. And like finding Commander playables that are maybe a little bit obscure, you know, is another big thing. There's just like multiple reasons to do a series like this, and that I enjoy doing a series like this. So again, I hope that some of my enjoyment sort of translates to you guys, and that we're all kind of having fun here, discovering new things, and also sort of, you know, talking about Magic history a little bit and our personal connections to cards, which is something I haven't even brought up yet, but is again very important. Every now and again we hit a card that I have a personal story with, a game that I played at my buddy's house in my LGS, and my buddy taught me why this card was good when we were first learning how to play Magic, or, oh, this card was a turning point that kind of leveled me up, you know, y'all must bargain and all that. Or Momentary Blink, getting to talk about how I added that card to Fairies right before a Pro Tour qualifier in Lorwyn Standard, and how it was a bad decision and shouldn't change your deck the night before an event. And just little things like that. Vesuvan Doppelganger I have memories with. The Virulent Sliver I have memories with. And these are cards that we've gotten to cover, you know, some of them at least, over the course of this series. I have a lot of history with a lot of cards. And so do you guys. And I like when not only I get to tell my personal stories with them, but like you tell your personal stories in the comments section. So it kind of brings us together a little bit, you know, community wise. And I just think there's a lot of reasons why I'm going to keep doing this series for as long as I possibly can. And I've really liked it. And I kind of like the little family that we've got going together. They're like 1,500 of us that watch this video like every day or so. So I just want to say thanks to you guys for kind of keeping it alive. I wasn't sure that this series was going to do like super well, and it doesn't do amazing in terms of views compared to some of the other things I upload, but it's not really about the views. It's just about like, You know, I enjoy doing this. There's a number of you who enjoy that I do it, and it's become part of your like daily routine. And God, those comments get to me where you say like, oh, I watch this at work, or on my drive to work, I listen to it, or my drive from work, or while I'm cooking or cleaning my house or whatever it is. You know, again, you've incorporated this series into your daily routines, and like that really kind of means a lot that we spend like 15 minutes a day together, like every day. So I see you. And you mean something to me. So I'm going to keep doing this. I love you all very much. Let's go. Let's see. It's day number 100. What is the first card? Is it Ancestral Recall? Let's find out. The first card of the day is Moss Diamond. So originally printed in Mirage. All the diamonds, I think, get a 5.5. I think we've decided on. Although Moss Diamond, it is worth noting, is some of the best art of any of the diamonds, I would say, from the original set. You know, love the background on this. I love how it kind of glows a little bit, but God, that old frame and that super vibrant art. I love Mirage. If anything, I think it's poetic that we got a Mirage card first, because every time we get a Mirage card, I'm like, oh, I gotta love Mirage, and I kind of drool for a minute. So maybe karma, maybe fate is true in guiding our our randoms today. Let's find out. So 5.5, I think, for Moss Diamond. Let's see what number 2 is. It's Plated Slagwurm, originally printed in Mirrodin. There were people excited about this card until we decided that we're playing Affinity, so 7 drops are kind of out the window at that point. But this is a 7 mana, 4 and 3 green for an 8/8 worm that can't be the target of spells or abilities that your opponents control. Now, this did occasionally see a tiny amount of play because it was part of Tooth and Nail. When it first came out. An 8/8 hexproof is pretty good. And when you can tooth and nail it into play on like turn 4, then it's even better because it comes alongside something else. So this, I believe, was mostly played in sideboards of TNN, but it does, again, that's what this series is about in some ways, about pointing out like the tiny little niches that some cards fit into, because you'd be surprised how many, you know, pretty not great cards like Plated Slagworm here, in a modern context at least, do have some tiny sliver, a little tiny little bit of relevance in the overall tapestry, the story of Magic, as it were. So I don't know why I sound so pretentious tonight. Maybe I'm a little sentimental about the 100th day, but yeah, Plated Slagworm, you're all right. You're not going to get the honorary 5. I will give you a 4.8. I will give you that, because, you know, 8/8 hexproof, if it hits play, what are you going to do? Right? So that's probably why it was halfway decent in a sideboard of, you know, the second most played deck in its given environment. Although I'd say Tooth and Nail it kind of took over Affinity, but it took bannings for that to happen and whatever. It took 2 bannings because Skull Clamp got banned and then Artifact Lands got banned. It was whole thing. But next is Mangara's Equity, another Mirage card. This one only ever printed in Mirage, but not part of the reserve list. So let's see if this is any good. This is 3 mana, 1 and 2 white for an enchantment. When you play it, you get to choose black or red. During your upkeep, pay 1 and a white or bury Mangara's Equity. For each 1 damage a creature of the chosen color deals to you, or a white creature you control, Mangara's Equity deals 1 damage to that creature. Okay, so whenever a black or red creature damages you or one of your guys, so long as those guys are white creatures, then they take damage. Those creatures then take damage. So for each one. So if a 3/3 gets in on me for 3 damage, it dies. That's kind of cute, actually. It is a color hoser, so I can't give it like a super high score. But even given the fact that I have read this card in my life, I feel like the last time I read it, I didn't understand Magic the Gathering well enough to read the card and be like, okay, this is what this card does. I feel like the last time I read this, I was like, because I was like 12, you know what I mean? So now actually having the clarity of 30 years of Magic experience, being like, oh, okay, it's one of these. It doesn't actually seem very impressive. But I don't know, if you're playing against black or red, then it's okay. You have to pay mana for it every turn, but it's not cumulative. It's just 2 mana every turn. I would like to ask the audience on this one, but I'm not going to turn my head to the right to look at chat yet. I'm just going to give them a chance to rate the card, which I may do more than once here in this video. It's a celebration. But I'm going to give this a 4 for time being. And I think it's mostly because it's a color hoser, you know? Yeah, but even against like red, you still probably die, right? Like you still, even if it's killing their guys, like you still probably die to, you know, their damage. So I don't know. I think back in the day against like Sly, you know, mono red aggro, that deck kills on like turn 6. You know, like I think that this would probably be okay. They're going to be hitting you for damage anyway, so you know, kill their guys. Seems good. Seems pretty good. So I don't know. I kind of don't hate this, but I'm still going to give it a 4 just because it's like pretty narrow given that it's color hosing. But if it comes out of the board in like a constructed format, it doesn't actually seem horrible. You know, there's got to be better ways. There's got to be a better way. Unplayable. Quantum Runner says 4. Mordobus says 1. Windcube says 4. Jackwise 3.9. Kringle Bob says 4. High All the Time Monkey, my actual real life cousin Jason, says 4.6. Got 3.9 from Pariah Carey. Lord Bio says 2.5. Yeah, that really was a lot of people. It was an awful lot of 4s, so apparently I was correct. Optimator 4.1. Yeah, I guess I got it right. If that's, you know, I'm not convinced though. I think if you're playing against black or red, it's probably still like a 4.5. Right? It's just okay. I'd probably rather have a circle of protection like some of the time. But moving on to Subterranean Hangar, only ever printed in Mercadian Masks. This is a storage counter land. Comes into play tap to put a storage counter on it, and tap to remove any number of counters from it to add a black to your mana pool for each counter removed this way. So this is different from other storage counter lands in that it doesn't just tap for a colorless mana, which it really ought to, you know, but I still tend to kind of like storage counter lands, and I'm going to give it a 5.2. Why don't we do that? Is that okay? Because storage counter lands are all right. They really are better than you might think they are. It's really not that bad, but you really wish they tapped for a colorless. You really do. I should probably just give it a 5. Let's just go down to 5, which is the same as a basic, and a basic's going to be better some of the time. This will be better than a basic though. You know, just get 3 storage counters on it. Go crazy. It's fine. You proliferate. Yeah, 5. We'll go to 5. Aspect of Mongoose, only ever printed in Time Spiral, getting a lot of one-offs today. This is 1 and a green for an aura that enchants a creature. That creature has Shroud, can't be the target of spells or abilities at all. When Aspect of Mongoose is put into a graveyard from play, you return Aspect to its owner's hand. How cute is that? Pretty cute. we are judging for casual commander here. Apparently, this card still is worth $1.59. That's probably in some way scarcity, because it is a playable effect in, you know, green X Enchantress decks in Commander. The problem being that the way Shroud works, once you play Aspect of Mongoose on one of your guys, you can no longer play any auras on it. So it has Shroud. So that's kind of lame a little bit. So the decks that want it the most, it has to be like the last thing you play on the guy. Which again, you don't really want to have to like wait to play Ancestral Mask on turn 3 and then play Aspect of Mongoose. I don't know. Maybe at that point in the game you have enough mana to actually back up playing an aura on your guy, because if they try to blow away your guy in response to you playing Aspect, you can just protect them somehow. That makes sense. But still, again, in the decks that want this the most, it's kind of awkward a little bit, but I don't know. It's good. It's definitely good. Shroud that keeps coming back is kind of fantastic, and it's a really unique effect. You don't see this every day. It's probably another reason why it's a little expensive. So I won't say expensive, but, you know, $1.60 for like a random uncommon is something, right? It's worth something. So I'm going to give it a 5.1 just because of its ability to keep coming back over and over. But I do think it's going to be a little, again, like a little awkward in the decks that you think you want to play it in. You know what I'm saying? But up next is Espectro del Dia del Juicio. This is actually Doomsday Spectre. Originally printed in Plane Shift, and it has the worst, grainiest image. Why is that? Give me that one. Yeah, what are you doing? All right, Doomsday Spectre is 4 mana, 2, a black and a blue for a 2/3 Spectre with flying. When it comes into play, return a blue or black creature you control to its owner's hand. Whenever Doomsday Spectre deals combat damage to a player, look at that player's hand and choose a card from it. That player discards that card. So this, along with Blazing Spectre, was sort of the, not the first, but like the fourth of the brand new Hypnotic Spectre like variants that we saw over the course of, you know, the first 10 years of Magic's life. This is a cool reference. And it was poised to see some play in Invasion, Plane Shift, whatever standard, but it just never really got there. Never did. It cost too much mana. It just 4 is right out. It is too much mana. Blazing Spectre was the counterpart in Invasion. It too was poised to see a lot of standard play and never really did, because 4 mana is too much for a 2-power flyer. It just is. In this case, you also lose some tempo when it comes into play, and we didn't have as many good ETB triggers back then. Now you look at something like this and you're like, oh, well, okay, I just return something with an ETB trigger to my hand and do it again. Yeah, that sounds good, but the best thing you could do back then was Mana War, which was not in standard. So, but I do think the 2-3 curve, or the 3-4 curve of Mana War into this is, in a kitchen table way, kind of attractive. But Doomsday Spectre never really lived up to its potential, and there was a reason for that. It's just kind of all right. It still carries a 71-cent price tag, which is a little surprising, because this card is actually not super great. Yes, Stitcher's Supplier. That's a great example. Mordobus. Return that supply to your hand. Get to going. But still, but Doomsday Spectre was just, it's never been what it was supposed to be. Even though it's got a better ability than Hypnotic Spectre, when you think about it, the combat damage hit is a coercion. Just look at their hand and choose a card from it. It doesn't even say non-land. It's just any card. So that's pretty sexy, but it's not great. I have to give it a 4.84. Let's go right there with it. I want to give it an honorary 5. I just can't. I can't do it. There's 5 more cards today. Relentless Assault. Are you sure? Originally printed in Visions. This is 4 mana, 2 and 2 red for a sorcery. Untap all creatures that attacked this turn. You may declare an additional attack during your main phase this turn. This is the OG right here, baby. This is the OG. Get another. That's why we call them, or at least I do, Relentless Assault effects a lot of the time. Boy, it's good to see you, buddy. It is so good to see you. I don't even remember the 7th edition art, like at all. But apparently you used it for 8th and 9th and 10th. Surprising. But still. Yeah, this card has been reprinted a billion times, and it still carries a price. Even if you want the white bordered 8th edition one, it's like $360, you know. Portal Second Age is really expensive, actually. It's like $8. And these are like, wait, what's the 6th edition art? Okay, the good art. And then Portal 3 Kingdoms, that's because it's 3 Kingdom, it's $55. And the 7th edition, the foil is $50 because it's the 7th edition foil, and those are really tough to find. It's a black bordered foil. Maybe they'll do that for Foundations, right? Maybe they'll do the whole set in white border, but we get black bordered foils. That'll be sick. But anyway, yeah, this card is dope. Good job on the art here, by the way, by G. Darrow and I. Rabarot. I've never like internalized who the artists are for this card in my head. But really like the style on this and the color palette as well. But still, Relentless Assault is still good. It's still a good Magic card. To this day, it's fantastic. It is one of the best versions of this effect that you can find, because a lot of them try to get too frilly with it, or like they add mana and like extra effects, or they take off mana and add a downside, and like this is just classic. 4 mana is just classic. I'm going to give Relentless Assault a 6.9. That is a pretty nice card. You know? I think it is. Is 6.9 too high? No. I see people in chat giving it like 7. But no, I do think 6.9 is about right. I do think that there's obviously plenty of decks that want to leverage an effect like this, you know. But moving on to Bramble armor here. This is not as impressive. This is origininally printed in Innistrad Midnight Hunt, but then was also printed again in Crimson Vow just like 2 months later. This is 2 mana, 1 and a green for an equipment that equips for 4 mana, but when it ETBs, you can attach it to a dude you control. The equipped creature gets +2/+1, so 2 mana for +2/+1. All right. That's all right. I mean, that's all right. That actually is kind of all right. It's not as bad as it looks, you know. It's like a giant strength that sticks around when the creature dies. It's better than giant strength, so... Equip 4 is too much, but I don't know, man. 2 mana for +2/+1 on like an aura type effect it's better than you think. I promise it is, but it's still not playable. 2.9. Let's go 2.9 on that bad boy right there. Animate Land was only ever printed in Nemesis. This sweet Rebecca. Is it Rebecca Guay? Is it because everyone says it's pronounced Rebecca Gay, but I don't know. I've never actually known. But anyway, Rebecca Guai, she's like one of the best artists in the history of Magic. 1 green mana for an instant. Until end of turn, target land is a 3/3 creature that is still a land. So it's just this effect. It's not like we haven't seen this effect on a million cards. It's just the only time this precise wording of it with this name was ever actually printed. A mana for a 3/3. It's Guay. That's different. That's different than anything I said. Rebecca Guay. Rebecca Guay. Rebecca Guay. I really like to know. There's 2 people in chat like, I really don't know. So I guess at least I don't feel so alone. But yeah, this is a neat effect. That's probably not ever gonna quite get there. You know what I mean? So 2.4, something like that. Something like that. I think some people might overvalue this effect. Palani's Hatcher is up next. That's some neat art. What's it actually look like? Oh, it's this guy. Yeah, it's 5 mana, 3 a red and a green for a 5/3 dino. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. When Hatcher enters the battlefield, create 2 0/1 green dinosaur egg creature tokens. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 1 or more eggs, sacrifice an egg, then create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token. I'm gonna let you know I have been housed by this card like multiple times on the arena, man. Like, it turns out that it's basically a 5 mana 3/3 haste that also comes with a bunch of other stats. It comes with 2 blockers. And then if it's still around the next turn, it swings for 11. Like, that's what? Like, it's pretty serious with the kind of like hell this card can actually like wreak. Wreck, yes, some of the time on you. I've actually been pretty scared of this card on occasion, but obviously it's not like an amazing Magic card. There's a reason why Dinosaurs isn't like a real deck in Standard. But I will say, if you're building Dinosaurs in Commander, like you're building Gishath in Commander, you probably play this dude just because of that first line of text. You know what I mean? So, for its casual Commander playability, and for the fact that it has beaten me no less than half a dozen times by itself, I'm going to give Hatcher like a 5.3. You know? Like, I actually do think this is a pretty solid card, all things considered. So, yeah, all day, baby. Yeah, people think it's definitely 5.5. Origin Spellbomb, we got a Spellbomb from Scars of Mirrodin. Only ever printed, apparently, in Scars of Mirrodin. This is 1 mana for an artifact. Pay 1, tap it, sack it to get a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token. When it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay a white. If you do, draw a card. So this is a total of 3 mana for a 1/1 that draws a card. But you pay it in installments. It puts puts an artifact onto the table, puts an artifact into the graveyard. So Eggs tends to use this, or at least back in the day, Eggs would use this because it's kind of like 2 artifacts, you know, and a drawn card. And that tends to be very good for those decks, but still, like, altogether fairly low power level on this. Low impact, I should say. Good role player in some decks. And again, I think that we're sort of past the point where this is any good. Even playing the role it once played. I think there's just better options. But I'm still going to give Origin Spellbomb like a 4.1. This card will never be like a true stinker, like a really, really bad Magic card. It does stuff. Drawing cards is good. But next, and I say next, this is actually a bonus card. That was the last card of the day. So our next card is the bonus card. This is an uncard called My First Home. I don't look at uncards. In that case, it's Charm Breaker Devils. What the hell are you? This is from Jumpstart. Actually, it's from Innistrad. This is from Innistrad. 6 mana, 5 and a red for a 4/4 devil. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, Charmbreaker Devils gets +4/+0 till it's neat. So if I cast a Monstrous Rage on this guy, what happens? 8, 9, 10, 11 trample. Yeah, he's like an 11 power trampler. Problem is he costs 6 mana. That's ridiculous. 6 mana is too much. But I will say, returning an instant or sorcery at random from your graveyard to your hand is very cute if you only have 1 instant or sorcery in your graveyard. There's got to be ways of brokering that deal, right? Maybe. Altogether, this is probably too cute. It's probably a little bit too cute. I really don't like seeing the word random on a card. So I'm going to give this a 4.6. If it was any instant or sorcery every turn, just like of your choosing, it would be a 5.9 or something. I really think it would be breaking something, but no, we'll go 4.6. I really don't like that word, but that we'll do one more bonus. It's the 100th. It's the 100th episode of the show. Let's go with a second bonus card today, and everybody blow on the dice for me. You know what I mean? Get this thing warmed up. We need a new pair of shoes. Let's try to get Black Lotus. Let's go. We still haven't seen it. It still has not popped up yet, which is kind of surprising. But let's hit random. Ogre Chitterlord, everyone's favorite card. This is from Wilds of Eldraine, currently, I believe, in Standard right this second. 6 mana, 4 and 2 red for a 6/5 Ogre Warrior with Menace. Have we found the big red, like, Haymaker? Have we found the win condition for Big Red that we've all been looking for? I'd forgotten this card existed. I thought it was from Wilds of Eldraine Commander, but no, this is playable in Standard. 6 mana, 6/5 Menace. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, create 2/1/1 Black Rat creature tokens with this creature can't. This is Grave Titan. This is just really bad Grave Titan. ETBs or attacks, you get 2/1/1s that can't block. Then if you control 5 or more rats, each rat you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Okay, so this wants you to play rats, pretty obviously, but like Lord Skitter on 3 into this guy on 6, that's so much. But he'll give all your rats +2/+0 the turn he comes into play. So that's cute. I wish he gave them haste. That'd be sweet if he also gave them haste. What are you getting? 8 power? You're getting 8 power. And if you attack with him, he's giving you 10 power. If you attack a third time and never controlled any other rats, then he's giving you 12, 24 power. Dude can definitely win a game by himself. This guy's okay. No one's ever going to play him in Standard, but now I kind of want to. There's so many better 6-drops in Standard, right? If you're playing like Big Red or something, you just play Chandra. It's better than this. Overlord of the Boiler Bilges, which is also a 4-drop, is better than this, but I don't know. I'm kind of drawn to this. I really am. I look at this and I seriously see Grave Titan with upside. But that's not what it is. It's not what it is at all. But I still like this. Honorary 5 for the 100th video. Ogre Chitterlord. I want to try this card. I really kind of do, man. Yeah, if they came in tapped and attacking when it attacks, that would be sick. I just +2/+0, guys. The 1/1s become 3/1s. Can somebody get in the lab with this like right now? Because I just can't bring myself to hate it. 5. But that is the 100th day of 10 cards, everybody. Day 101 tomorrow. That's when we're going to get all the time twisters and stuff. I guarantee you. But thanks for joining us, everybody. If you're on Twitch watching live right now, if you're one of the people in my chat, then don't go away. We still have Magic to play. But if you're watching on YouTube, I want to thank you again for 100 episodes of this show, but that doesn't mean I'm going to quit anytime soon. Trust me, we're going to get to like 10,000 or something before it's all said and done. But thanks for showing up for this extra long episode of this show, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.